Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome. Good Shabbos. We are so grateful to have you with us. I would like to invite a member of our board of trustees and one of our early founding members, Jane Drucker, to light the Shabbat candles for us to usher in Shabbat this evening. If you have a prayer book at home, we are on page 120, and I invite you to think of what kavanah, what intention do you have for this Shabbat? And we will invite Jane to light the candles.
Yeah, if she can find the matchbook.
Not to worry. We bring in the light 3 times into our eyes as we bless.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner להדליק נר של שבת.
Blessed are you, Spirit of the universe, who commands us to kindle the Shabbat lights. Thank you, Jane, for welcoming us into your home and helping us usher in this Kol Ami Zoom Shabbat this evening. And Shabbat Shalom and happy Passover to everyone. So I am now on page 124. If you have a prayer book with you, you can turn to page 124. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. And may its threshold be no stumbling block to the young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be for all who enter the doorway to a richer and a more meaningful life. And we say together, Amen, Amen. So we are now entering Shabbat and entering Pesach. We are in this sacred period, the 8-day festival, of which we have one other 8-day festival that we celebrate towards the beginning of the year, which is Sukkot. And Pesach too has both its Hag days, the days that are holidays on which we don't work and do all of the traditional things. And then there are days of Chol HaMoed, the in-between days where we're allowed to celebrate, but also we are allowed to get the shopping done and drive and do those things. And I just want to wish you all a Zisen Pesach, a joyous and happy Pesach to each of you. And I hope that your Seders were lovely and meaningful. We had a beautiful community Seder last night. Thank you to everyone who joined us. And now I'm going to sing a brief Shabbat song for us, Maya Fe Hayom. Feel free to join at home if you'd like to. Maya Fe Hayom. Shabbat Shalom, מה יפה היום, שבת שלום, שבת, שבת שלום, שבת, שבת שלום, שבת, שבת שלום. Shabbat Shalom. I have to say, doing Zoom services with you all is a strange feeling for me, bringing back the many days of the pandemic and days where we were only allowed to gather in Zoom on Zoom. And I'm most grateful that we get to be in person together. I offer now another prayer, which we find on page 126 in your prayer book. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. We turn now to page 138 as we welcome the Shabbat bride into our homes, into your home and mine, and into our Zoom community this evening. Feel free to join me if you'd like. And tonight we're going to do kind of an upbeat melody because it is Pesach, and that means it's a new year. Nisan is one of the new years, so we get to start over and be refreshed. Let us sing and welcome that Shabbat bride together. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat bnei kabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat bnei kabela. Shamo וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללה 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 בני שבת מקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללה 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 בני שבת פני קבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללה 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 פני שבת פני קבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללה 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 פני שבת פני קבלה. I invite you to rise if you are able. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ותוכלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. Lecha dodi likrat kala, yalala, 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 ipne Shabbat, mekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, yalala, 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 ipne Shabbat, mekabela. I have to say, I miss hearing your voices and seeing all of your beautiful faces, but I know that you are with us and I am feeling your spirit in my heart this Shabbat and this Pesach. And I just want to invite us to take a moment to welcome each of you. Welcome to Kol Ami. For those of you who have been here before and those of you who for whom it might be your first time, I want to welcome you and I want to say that you are seen, you are appreciated, you are valued. Shabbat Shalom and Zisen Pesach. And I don't know if you have the ability in YouTube to welcome one another, but I invite you, whether you can do that on chat or not, to just take a moment and offer a prayer up from your heart of welcoming and of joy to the rest of the individuals that are in this beautiful room with us. And we will turn now and rise for the Baruch Hu, which is found on page 146. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed. You may be seated if you rose in body or in spirit. I offer you this beautiful kavanah for today, which is the first day of the Omer. We'll learn a little bit more about it later in our service. But this beautiful kavanah is written by a mentor of mine, Rabbi Karen Kadar. I was once taught you are never as good as they say you are, and you are never as bad as they say you are. All that matters is that each day we create anew the possibility of a joyful sound unto God. And that is what we are doing this Shabbat Pesach and this counting of the Omer. We are creating a new possibility of ourselves and of our joyful souls. So I invite you now to just take a minute and maybe take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth, letting the Shabbat settle within you tonight, noticing how you're feeling as we are praying our Shabbat prayers, this beautiful Pesach. How is your heart? How is your body? How is your spirit this evening? And if it is your practice, I invite you to rise in body or in spirit for the Shema and to join me as we chant. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam may be seated. We think of that oneness of God that connects us all. And hopefully, many of you sat around Seder tables this week, maybe one, maybe two, or if not, you're with us all tonight. And seeing the faces around the Seder table yesterday evening at Kol Ami brought me such joy. Some people who don't get to see each other except maybe twice a year were hugging and embracing and asking about how their partners were doing, how their family is, how is work. And it was just so joyous to be together in community. And for me, the Shema reminds us of that connectedness that we have with each and every Jew on this planet. The Ve'ahavta is our prayer about loving that divine being with our whole self. And I invite you to join me in chanting the Ve'ahavta tonight. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם emet. We read together, if you have a prayer book with you, on page 155. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gates. They are reminders to do all my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha neda bakodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Sing the song of men and women, of non-binary individuals joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles and earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content. Her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. And we at Kol Ami pray for a world redeemed and for a place of peace on this earth. May our hands help make that happen. May this festival of freedom remind us of our commitment to bring that forth. We turn now to our prayer, asking for God to spread over us a shelter of peace. And may that shelter of peace come to all who need this Shabbat. Hashkivenu is that prayer. It's found on page 160. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ufros aleinu, uvoenu, lechaim leshalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai hapores sukat shalom עלינו ועל כל עמו Yisrael ועל Yerushalayim. And we say together, Amen. So we are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. I invite you, if you are able, to rise in body or in spirit for the Amidah. If you have a prayer book with you, I am on page 164. Adonai sefatai tiftach uhufia gitehilatecha shechina sfatai tiftechi uhufia gitehilatecha. I invite you to daven the prayers on your heart or the prayers of our tradition through page 180. And when you are done, you may be seated. Our God and God of our fathers and mothers, on this day of Pesach, be mindful of us all, your people Israel, for good, for love, for compassion, for life and peace. Remember us for well being, and we say together, Amen. Visit us with blessing, and we say together, Amen. Help us to a fuller life, and we say together, Amen. I invite you to take your time. When you are done davening, you may be seated. Ever present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, sheotcha levad chayecha bira na'avod. And we say, Amen. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha Tasihim Leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha Tasihim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha Tasihim Leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha Tasihim Leolam. Tasihim Leolam. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people, forever, for you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people, Israel, in every season and every moment with your peace. Baruch atah Adonai hamevorech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. And we say together, Amen. So our thoughts turn now to those in our lives who are in need of healing. Our prayer for healing is found on page 109. The names of those for whom we are sending healing prayers to are on the screen in front of you. And if you have someone in your life whom you are sending healing prayers to, I invite you to say their name out loud now from your home, from your space. And since we are on Zoom tonight and I cannot hear you, I will lift up all of these names. Congregation Kol Ami is praying for a refuah shlema, a complete healing of body and mind and spirit. For Mason Anthony, Murray Aronson, Gary Ashland, Stephen Baird, Fred Balch, Michael Beard, Michael Becker, Herbert Bernard, Elaine Blatt, David Bozel, Jordan Cohn, Mike Fowley, Martin Frank, Wayne Fuchs, Victor Gabriel, Walter Going, Marty Kaplan, Rahel Kent, Allison Knapp, Rick Neese, Donald Paul Lopez, Peter Mackler, Paula Marquis, Zenita Munoz, Robin Nisim, Seema Azdabi, Katz, Ted Plafker, David Resnick, Randy Rollins, Craig Rosen, Ivan Rosenberg, Loretta Rosenfeld, Myrna Salzberg, Flory Schutzer, Michael Seelig, Hilary Selvin, Miles Sen, Ken Allen Smith, Henry Sommerfeld, Susan Sugar, Magwena Florine Thomas, Stephen Valentino, Anastasia Vitek, Adam Weisbart, Steve Weiss, Ed Williams, Nancy Wertman, Katie Wolf, Marvin Wolf, Rob Wright, Rabbi Jillian Zimmerman. And I add to that list all of the names of those for whom you are sending healing prayers to this evening. If you have a prayer book at home, the Misha Berach is found on page 109. Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Lehimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu Mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, of mind, and of spirit. And let us say, join me in home, Amen. May all who are in need of healing this evening receive our prayers tonight. So, a little Omer teaching for you now. If you were with us last night, you might have heard also a different teaching on the Omer. So the Omer is this sacred counting that we are in the process of right now, which begins on the second night of Passover, or the second day. The second night was last night. The second day is today. And it is 49 days or 7 weeks in which we take on a discipline, an obligation to mindfully enter each day, to be aware of its potential to matter, to make a difference, to count for something. So we awaken a routine with intention and attention by this sacred counting of the Omer. And our tradition teaches this spiritual mapping of the universe. We study and learn about this in the Kabbalah itself, in the mystical teachings. but there are lists and a series of spiritual principles that sustain and guide the spiritual world. And it seems that this process we've engaged in mapping from the times of the Bible through the rabbinic period. We learn from the prophet Micah in Micah 5 and from Mishnah Avot 3:1, 4:17, and 5:1, and from the Talmud, Shabbat 31a, from the Musar literature, to name just a few. And our tradition, as we know, and as Rabbi Karen Kadar teaches, is not dogmatic. We never do the rabbis believe that there's only one way to get to spiritual enlightenment, but rather that there are these spiritual laws that govern our lives, and there are many ways to achieve enlightenment. And so, what I want to invite everyone in our community and anyone who is interested in is to engage with me for these next 49 days into this spiritual realm, this sacred counting. Some people will count the Omer by printing out a calendar and spending 5 minutes a day quietly studying. Others will take a moment to meditate. Others will just take a moment to say the blessing and then mark somehow that they have counted that day. I have a friend who counts the day with stones. Um, I have another friend who creates art pieces for each day. I tend to use the time to study a Kabbalistic text, spend a few moments in prayer or in meditation, and then pose a question and see what arises for my soul. But there are many ways that we can count the Omer and use this sacred counting up from Pesach to Shavuot, when we receive the Torah, which actually happens on the 50th day. This is a counting up to prepare our souls to be ready to receive that Torah. And the weeks of each of these 7 weeks of the Omer itself have themes that go with them. And depending on what you're studying, whether you're studying through a Kabbalistic lens, through a Musar lens, which is ethical character quotes, or through a modern rabbi's lens, there are different concepts that you can contemplate from week to week. And this week, according to the Kabbalah, we are in the week of Chesed. Chesed is loving kindness. And each day of the Omer, you have Chesed, and then it gets mixed with another one of the Sfirot, another one of the aspects of God, the ways in which we experience God's self. And so tonight, I want to invite you all, Kol Ami, to think about, where is loving kindness in your life? Where do you feel loving kindness in your relationships, in your connection to the earth and to nature? And what might you do this week to increase the loving kindness that you experience in your life? So I'm just going to invite you to take a quiet moment to think about this word chesed, which means loving kindness, and let it marinate. Let it soak in tonight. And may we be with chesed, with this loving kindness, for the entirety of this first week of the Omer, and our community members will be receiving a beautiful teaching about Chesed this week from me based on our Kabbalah, on our mystical texts, and our counting of the Omer. Shabbat Shalom. So, I just want to highlight a few things and say, please go to our website if you want to see all the amazing things that are happening at Kol Ami. We have so many incredible things happening this month. I want to offer a huge thank you to our Passover committee and to our Passover sponsors who helped make yesterday evening's lovely community Seder happen. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. And I want to thank each of you that is with us in community this Shabbat for being with us. And I want to invite you to be with us in person next week. Upcoming, we have our gala on July 18th. Save the date, and there will be more information forthcoming week by week. So sign up for our Ikalenu so you can get our weekly newsletter. We will be having a high holiday trope chanting class, which will be starting up soon. There'll be information coming out about that on Wednesday in our Ikalenu, so look out for that. Torah study continues not this coming Wednesday, because this coming Wednesday is Chag also, but the following. And we'll be studying both Parshat HaShavua and also some of the Omer. So please join us on Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m., just not this next coming Wednesday, because it is also Chag. And I wish you all a Zisen Pesach, a happy Passover, and a Shabbat Shalom. We turn now to page 586. And I have to say, I miss hearing your voices and seeing your beautiful faces. And I invite you, please, to rise for Aleinu and join me at home. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leyotzer breshit, shelo asanu kgoyei haratzot, velo samanu כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד. ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. Our thoughts turn now to those in our lives whom death has taken from us. In a moment, I will read the list of names and invite you to rise and recite the names of your loved ones. And I am on page 594. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, to hope, to dream, to be. and oh to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing to love, a holy thing to love, what death has touched. I invite you, if you are able, to rise in support of the mourners. I will first read the list of names of those families who are in a period of Shiva or Shloshim, the first 7 or the first 30 days of mourning. Rabbi Andrea Weiss and Madi Franco, mother of Eli Franco. And I will now read the names of those for whom Congregation Kol Ami is saying Kaddish this evening. Leon Pickus Hyman, Mary Jane Solomon Katz, Elaine Ann Newman, Fred Frank, Sam Mackler, Wayne Pickus, Grace Colligan, Lois Freed, Jillian Denise Dowler, Marion Carbelnig, Ben Carbelnig, Israel Irving Margolin, Werner Lang, Marvin Nodiff, Reuben Ratkin, Melvin Larson, Arlene Carr Powell, Mario Levy, and Mark Rosenblum. I invite you, if you have names to add, to please say your names aloud at home. May their souls and the legacy of their lives lift us, and may we all mourn together. We turn now to page 598 for Kaddish Yatom. Please join me. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach riruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, בחיי חום וביום החון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומן ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו, לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו amen. And I invite you to you may be seated. If you have someone with you at home, I invite you to put your arms around them, and I am putting my arms around you. And if you are solo, give yourself an embrace right now so that you can feel the love of the Kol Ami community, the love of Shabbat. I discovered in preparing for Passover a very beautiful poem, a poem about peace for our homeland. And so I offer now Rabbi Nachman's prayer for peace, and may this prayer for peace reach all who need all across the world. And this is Rabbi Nachman's prayer for peace, but it has been translated by Rabbi Deborah Silver. May it be your will, Holy One, our God, our ancestors' God, that you erase war and bloodshed from the world, and it's in its place draw down a great and glorious peace, so that nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Rather, may all the inhabitants of the earth recognize and deeply know this great truth, that we have not come into this world for strife and division, nor for hatred and rage, nor provocation and bloodshed. We have only come here to encounter you, eternally blessed one. And so we ask your compassion upon us. Raise up by us what is written: I shall place peace upon the earth, and you shall lie down safe and undisturbed. And I shall banish evil beasts from the earth, and the sword shall not pass through your land, but let justice come in waves like water, and righteousness flow like a river. For the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Holy One, as the waters cover the sea. So may it be. And I invite you to join me now in our song of peace as our closing song tonight. And just picture us with our arms around one another, as we are often in the sanctuary on Shabbat. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, himru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Shabbat shalom, Kol Ami. Sending you wishes for a Zisen Pesach, a joyous Pesach, and Shabbat shalom. We look forward to being together with you next Shabbat in person. And may you take the love and the joy and the freedom and the inspiration from this holiday, and may you bring it forth into your lives. Thank you so much, Travis. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, our board of trustees and everyone who helped make this Shabbat happen. I am so grateful for you all, and good Shabbos, everyone. Good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom.